Hello, geography students. This is Mrs. Politsky, and I have your notes for Chapter 17, Section 4, Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. So the city of Palmyra, dating back to the 2nd century AD, was located in the middle of the Syrian desert. It was a stopping place for caravans traveling from the Arab Gulf to the Mediterranean Sea. The Romans called the city Palmyra, which means City of the Palms. Syria was once part of the Ottoman Empire and is an Arab country ruled by a powerful family. In 1946, Syria became an independent republic with its capital located in the city of Damascus. Hafez al-Assad led the Syrian government from 1971 to 2000 as a dictator. He increased the size of the Syrian military to match that of the Israeli military. After his death in 2000, his son Bashir al-Assad was elected president, and in time he too proved to be a dictator and led Syria into civil war beginning in 2011 and continuing on to this day. Syria has a socialist government. The government owns this country's oil refineries, electrical plants, railroads, and some of their factories. Syria's key manufactured goods are textiles, food products, and chemicals. There are rich deposits of iron ore, basalt, and phosphates within the country. Lebanon, historically, the Phoenicians from ancient times lived here along the coast of Lebanon and maybe even down further into what would be Israel. And they developed colonies around the Mediterranean through trade. The Phoenicians developed an alphabet, which basically is kind of the alphabet that ours is modeled after, because each letter stood for a sound. After World War I, France controlled Lebanon and Syria. Lebanon gained its independence in the 1940s. Many Lebanese speak French and also Arabic. Lebanon has been the home to many religious and ethnic minorities. The majority of the people are Arab, but they're divided by religion. Most are either Muslim or Christian. In Lebanon, the Muslims are divided into three groups: Sunni, Shia, and also Druze, which is not pure Islam. They don't follow the five pillars. They also follow elements of what is called Ishmaelism and Gnosticism and Neo-Plutonianism, which kind of goes back to the Greeks. They live in isolation. Um, there's no conversion uh, or among other religions. For the most part, you might see the blending of Christianity and Islam here, but they make up only about 5% of the population. They also favor this idea of pan-Arabism, the whole idea of where, um, for the most part, Arab nations would unite and form one nation together. The Maronites, this is the largest Christian group within the country, but over time, Muslims have become kind of Lebanon's religious majority. This group was named after Saint Moran, and today the Maronites are kind of a part of the Eastern sect of the Catholic Church. They are in full communion with the Roman Catholic Church. Thus, if you went to a mass within this rite, it would still count as your weekly mass. In the 1970s, fighting broke out in Lebanon. So between 1975 and 1990, we had an event known as the Lebanese Civil War. Cooperation between Christian and Muslim politicians started to break down, and political tension mounted. The Palestinian refugees were also coming into this region, and they added to the tension. And fighting broke out between the ethnic and religious groups. Fighting between Lebanese groups lasted until 1990. And in 2008, there was also a clash between Hezbollah, which is kind of a terrorist group, and the Druze militia. The capital of Lebanon is Beirut. The city is slowly rebuilding. It actually had been kind of a hotbed for violence for many, many years. Its industries include food processing, textiles, cement, and jewelry making. Jordan. The city of Jericho is located north of the Dead Sea and is one of the settlements that was discovered in the world dating back to around 7000 BC, making it one of the oldest cities of the world. Jordan has few resources, and most people are um, nomadic or semi-nomadic. Bedouins. Bedouins are people who kind of roam the desert. Anyway, Arabic speaking nomads who live mostly in the deserts of the southwestern part of Asia. When you talk about the city of Jericho, it is literally located on the cliffs here. So you can kind of get a view of that. At number 13, Jordan was created after World War One by the British, who named an Arab prince as its monarch. In the 1940s, Jordan gained its full independence, and from 1952 to 1999, Jordan was ruled by King Hassan, um, who enacted some of the democratic reforms in the 1990s. The capital of Jordan is Amman, and it is Jordan's largest city. Jordan produces phosphate, cement, and potash, which is important for fertilizer. Tourism and also banking are important industries. Jordan depends on economic aid from its oil rich Arab nations in the U.S. Farmers produce fruits and vegetables like citrus, tomatoes, and melons. They also raise sheep, but there is also a shortage of water within Jordan. Thank you very much.